Get ready for FCP's Potato Slam featuring MattMatt,
Scott Steiner,
Liquid Gold Steve,
Again, it was Sid Vicious.
and Kadawfi Crush. Kinnikuman did it first. Welcome, everybody. Today, we are here to talk about Kinnikuman, Tigermask, and some more wrestling. Today, we're casting judgment on two of our favorite wrestling animes, two of the OGs, Kinnikuman and Tigermask. That's who we're going to primarily focus on today. All right, we're going to kick things off with Liquid Gold Steve. Man, so this is your first time getting to see Kinnikuman, getting to see all the shit that I've been talking about Kinnikuman, about how many times he did it first and how many different ways he did it first. Like I like to say, he's probably the progenitor for shonen anime today. He showed up first. So now that you finally got a chance to experience it, man, what do you think?
For me, yes, I can see what you're saying, that there is a lot of shonen-esque like references from Kinnikuman that moved on into the future. Kinnikuman as a character, love him in the ring, hate him as a person.
A time or two, we've kind of already explained who Kinnikuman is, but do you want to kind of catch anybody up on it real quick?
All right. So Kinnikuman is from a planet named Kinniku Planet. He is the prince of that planet.
He's the prince of all Kinniku.
The
Yes.
prince of all muscles.
The prince of all the Kinniku clan.
But yes, he is his real
Kinniku man
name
from the
is
Kinniku clan.
Suguru. And his parents thought he was a pig and threw him out their ship when they were taking their honeymoon or their little vacation. And he crash landed like Superman into Japan and was there most of his life. Well, from like 2 to 20. So pretty much his whole life. He was raised as a Japanese citizen. But he's a Superman, a Chojin, as they say, in the world of Kinnikuman. This whole show, to me, was wild. Because like in the first like 10 episodes, you saw a man turn into ramen and get eaten in the same episode. Kinnikuman, like how you see wrestling back in the day is how wrestling in Kinnikuman was, except they added the extra flair of being superheroes in a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
And they would go like 20 feet, 30 feet in the air, and like dudes would get slammed into the mat and like come out of the mat and just be like, okay, that was just the beginning.
Kinnikuman was a lot like kayfabe, like what you thought the wrestlers were like behind the scenes. You know, like how they actually had superpowers. Like when I was growing up, some of the biggest wrestlers, like Kevin Nash, and of course
Shawn
Michaels, the Giant from WCW, the Big Show. You know, Undertaker's, Sid Vicious. These guys were humongous monsters of people. You know, I mean, even today, Brock Lesnar. What's his name? That big fella.
There's a couple big fellas.
Guardian of the Galaxy. What's his name?
Oh,
Batista. Dave Batista. You know, you got these just these titans of men. And I feel like Kinnikuman captures what that felt like as a kid, seeing those guys perform the things they did. You know, getting to see them fly across the ring the way they did. And it almost felt like playing an arcade version of the wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Kinnikuman, the show, yes, there is kayfabe. Like, it's not actual kayfabe, it's the real life. It's the real thing. But yeah, it act like how wrestlers in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even the 90s were portrayed as Superman. They were the big honchos of everything. Like, if they were out in public and someone recognized them and they got into a bar fight, they would have to win that bar fight handily to make to have like their aura or mystique still be intact, than just, oh, he got his ass whipped by Joe Schmo down the street. Oh, he ain't nothing now. Like
shit.
this motherfucker get fired the same day like that. But in Kinnikuman, the show, there is more superheroes than just Kinnikuman. There's Terry Man, there's Robin Mask, there's Ramen Man that turned someone into ramen and ate him. He's still a good guy for some reason, but yeah, he's a good guy.
Wasn't a bad guy.
There's Brocken Man, who's a German that he looks like he's part of the Nazi party, but
no, he was a Nazi. He had swastikas.
I just didn't want to say it.
He dresses like a Nazi.
There are other Supermen in this show, Chojin, as they call them, that are more popular than Kinnikuman. Like, at the very beginning of the show, Kinnikuman was a joke. Like, to everybody, like, if Kinnikuman showed up to save you from a purse snatcher, then you better just, like, run the other way, because Kinnikuman ain't gonna save you. He probably get...
He'll make it worse.
He's probably gonna get his ass beat by the robber, and then you're still gonna lose your bag. Like, Terry Man is, like, at the beginning of the show, Terry Man was, like, the best of the best. Like, Robin Man showed up later, but, like, Terry Man, when Terry Man showed up with the gun, you knew that it was down. It was done for. You better just move.
He showed up with the strap. He showed up with the strap, the 6-shooter.
Let's take a diversion for a second. I just want to ask Kadawfi, Kinnikuman's more surrounded by supermen, Chojin, in a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
But in Tigermask, it's really like regular people, but they're portrayed as larger than life.
Yeah. These regular people in Tigermask, I'll actually just, for anybody who hasn't seen Tigermask, let me take a step back a second and I'll get back to what you were asking, if that's cool.
That's fine.
All right. Tigermask, Naoto Date. He is an orphan who grew up to join the Tiger's Den. As a young fella, I think he was like 8, 9, 10, somewhere in that ballpark, when he joined the Tiger's Den and started training to become a professional wrestler in the Tiger's Den.
Yeah.
They have a deal that once you're good enough to leave and become professional, every match you have where you make money, you're to give half of that to the Tiger's Den as your payment back. Date, he felt it was more important to pay for orphans. He had an orphanage in his old town, the orphanage he used to live in. He went back there and discovered 2 of his friends were still living there, Ruriko and her older brother. They said his name like twice. He wasn't really that important. He stayed in the background. He was the dude with the glasses.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like he wasn't really, he just, I don't know. He was cool. He didn't bother nobody, but he just stayed in the background. But Ruriko is kind of who the story focuses in on when you go to the orphanage. So Tigermask decided that it was more important to help that orphanage along so those kids had a better life while being in the orphanage than it was to pay back the Tiger's Den. So he was sent a death threat from a man named Mr. X. Mr. X is a representative of the Tiger's Den he's essentially like Paul Bearer. You know, he's with the bad guy, with the dark, mysterious people, and he's always bringing some new dark, mysterious figure to come whoop your ass. He didn't just have the Undertaker. He had multiple wrestlers under his belt because he was a representative of the Tiger's Den as a whole.
Okay.
The Tiger's Den isn't just in Japan. It's global. There's at least one Tiger's Den in every country. And so Mr. X has that type of leverage to be able to pull from. What he tells Date is, look, we're gonna send a wrestler to come kill you. And the way the wrestler's gonna do it is he's gonna defeat you so handily in the ring that you're gonna kill yourself. We have several examples where we broke his arms in such a way he could never wrestle again, and he ran in front of a train and died. We had a man go hang himself. We had a man jump off a building and die. You know, you're next because you won't pay your bill. Tigermask like, oh shit, I didn't know. Let me pay my bill. Here on the next fight, I promise you, I'll pay you plus interest. He's like, all right, deal. I'll take the deal. But if you don't pay, boy, it's on. Pretty much for the duration of the show, Mr. X has a villain of the week. And it's not always every episode that Tigermask gets into a wrestling fight, a wrestling match. It's more like a fight when they get in the ring. It's more like I have to whoop this guy's ass. Totally. But Mr. X brings a new guy from the Tiger's Den every week or so to try to defeat Tigermask. He has like a master plan in mind where he's going to wear Tigermask down. But unfortunately, because he's always bringing people to fight Tigermask and Tigermask keeps beating him, Tigermask gets more and more famous. And it pisses off the Tiger's Den more and more every week. So we end up getting stronger and stronger opponents every week to come after Tiger Mask. Now, what was your question again?
Just well, you explained my question. It was just what was Tiger Mask compared to Kinnikuman with because how they're actual Supermen,
Right.
and Tiger Mask is just regular people, but when they're in the ring, it's different.
Well, it's even outside of the ring because they actually have a shit ton of strength. Tiger Mask is known for defeating a tiger in the Tiger's Den. There is an episode where he beats the shit out of a bear and somehow manages to survive the wilderness and get back home because he mollywopped a bear.
What kind of bear, though?
It was a big brown bear.
Okay.
It was a big brown bear. I mean, it was bigger than Naoto Date, and he went out there and beat the shit out of that bear. He does a lot to actually not show that he's a wrestler in his real when he doesn't have his mask on. Like when he goes to visit the children at the orphanage, he never shows up as Tiger Mask. He only shows up as Naoto Date. Well, there is the one or two occasion he did show up as Tiger Mask, but he had to keep the relationship from Tiger Mask and Naoto Date as far as possible. And it's like it's a secret he held on to the whole show. Even though Ruriko figures it out down the road, she, really puts it together and tells him like, "Hey, I know who you are, but you ain't got to say nothing. Just I'll keep it on the hush," and they actually tried a little bit to build a little bit of a romance there and then just let it go. They just let it go. Naoto Date he really does he would much rather take care of children in the orphanages than anything else. Like, honestly, you never see the guy drink alcohol. He doesn't smoke anything. You see him train, take care of the orphanage, or freak out in his hotel room. Those are the three things you see Naoto Date really do. As far as their strength is concerned, they're stronger than the average person. They can do some pretty strong man things, but for the most part, they are just regular people.
The way you're explaining Tiger Mask, and I know it's just a small thing, kind of reminds me of one of my favorite players or fighters in Tekken, King, which is kind of cool that they kind of took. It's not like the whole thing, like Tiger Mask is the whole thing that made King, but it's a good reference point. Like King wanted to save an orphanage, even went to a tournament to try to get money to build an orphanage for lost kids in Mexico, not in Japan. But yeah, it's kind of cool. They kind of blended that together. When I heard about Tiger Mask and hearing his backstory, I was thinking of that. Not now, but when I heard it before. I did want to ask MattMatt, because you're the real life fact checker. Was there a Tiger Mask in real life?
There have been 8 tiger. There have been officially 7 Tiger Masks. Multiple people have worn the mask, but it started out in like the early 80s, and that first Tiger Mask was a unified champion between the NWA and the WWF as a junior heavyweight champion.
Okay.
Because the popularity of the manga back in from 1969, I think it was All Japan who created the persona, and then Tiger Mask 2, not the show, the wrestler, the gimmick was bought by New Japan, and they brought him over to do that in New Japan. Which, I've been wanting to say this, I actually have a couple of these, but this is the first one for the episode. So I have a Tiger Mask did it first. If anyone has ever watched WWE within the last, WCW to WWE, and knows the wrestler named Rey Mysterio, you would know that Rey Mysterio's signature move, or his finisher, is the 619. He whips his opponents into the middle rope. He hangs over the rope, and he comes around while holding both top and middle rope and kicks him in the face, jumps off top rope, and, all the whole thing. Tiger Mask did it first. He invented the move.
That's an interesting fact, MattMatt.
That's a pretty cool move too. Like that swing around the rope when Ray does it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Tiger, because Tiger Mask was bigger than Rey Mysterio.
Some of them were. So, because like that's the thing with different people wearing the mask was like I think the first one he was
Like the one that invented the 619.
oh I don't know who did it, but I know that he was that the persona was the one who did it because they always did the tiger suplex, the double underhook, stuff like that. Like they always kept up with that because of the show. The first Tiger Mask was 5'8". So that's
Still,
not too much.
That's bigger than Rey Mysterio
Yeah.
because Rey's like
5'3".
5'4", 3.
5'3",
Mhm.
something like that.
And another first for y'all. Do you know who invented the first time someone did a choke slam in a wrestling match? Would you like to know some history?
Yes.
All right. So, little known fact about the 16th U.S. President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln is in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. You see where I'm going with this. I'm dead fucking serious. Abraham Lincoln has gone 299 to 1 in his wrestling style.
But this is
catch wrestling. It's a style of professional wrestling. It's catch wrestling. Same difference. He was talking shit. This was before he was president, obviously, because you can't have the fucking POTUS out here handing out choke slams and shit to people.
The world would be mighty different.
So it was around 1831. He was talking shit, and a local gang called the Clary Grove Boys heard Lincoln bragging. So their leader, Jack Armstrong, challenged him to a match. So they go through the match back and forth, and the match ended, quote, concluded when Lincoln grabbed his opponent by the throat, lifted him in the air, and after holding him there for a second, you guessed it, chokeslam. So, anytime you see Kane or Undertaker and all of those things, just remember, Abraham Lincoln did it first.
Wow.
16th president is showing off a little bit.
I mean, he built a log cabin, right? Those guys were strong to be able to do that.
Oh my God.
That was probably the last time that gang ever said shit to Lincoln.
Dude, I went down a hole when damn researching this week.
So
1 second. I had a question to ask Matt about Tiger Mask.
Okay.
As opposed to like the show, was that something that they were able to keep up with the live action Tiger Masks? Like with him not just doing the moves, but like supposedly taking care of the Bambini or the excuse me, taking care of the children or the or orphanages, or like they ever show him like doing giveaways or anything like that?
He was a heel. He was
shit.
Yeah, he was a
so
heel.
he stayed a heel.
He stayed a heel for the most part. They did introduce I don't know if the original Tiger Mask does it, but Tiger Mask W does it where they have Dark Tiger. I know the third is in the original. The Tiger the Third. Did he show up at all?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
We didn't see Tiger 2. We just Naoto Date
Just Tiger Mask.
as Tiger Mask. Nobody else picked up the mantle at all.
So he was a heel when he started, and then I think he turned face, and then they had Dark Tiger come in, and that was kind of his rival when he was in, I think it was All Japan. No, it was New Japan, because he New Japan licensed the character, and then All Japan bought them back in '84. So it was like '82 when Tiger Mask came out, like as the actual character, or in ring real life character, and then All Japan, which was feuding with New Japan at the time, bought the character.
Okay.
Because I don't know, Kinnikuman, obviously they don't really go by real like organizations and such.
Right.
What was the organization, the outfit that Tiger Mask fought out of? His promotion.
They really didn't say.
Okay. Because nowadays it's New Japan.
Like I know like Baba and Antonio Inoki were there, and there were a few other famous faces. We did get to see Jack and Mike Briscoe.
So it might have been All Japan.
So possibly, but they never really said.
Because I think Inoki was All Japan.
But Baba was New Japan. Both of them had two different. Just make sure, because I know both of them had two different Not federations.
Oh
but
shit, Inoki was Japan Pro Wrestling. He was the one that fought Muhammad Ali in the first MMA fight.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that shit.
Where he laid down on him.
Yep. That shit was bullshit. Anyway.
Nah, man, that was legit.
I mean, it was what he asked for. But you were saying about like the orphan. Yeah, I don't think the orphanage was a real thing. I think that's just for the anime and the manga.
It actually, in that show, it actually made a lot of good sense. The way the orphanages played out into the show, because it appears like a running theme with the show. Almost anytime Tiger Mask met a new orphan, he was in a different city, a different country. Almost anytime he met a new orphan, what happened to your parents? Oh, they died in a car accident. And apparently there was something going on in the 60s, early 70s with a lot of car accidents and people dying and leaving orphans. That was a very prevalent thing, apparently. And it starts to show the deeper you get into the Tiger Mask show. Like, they finally start to, are able to tell the story better. They're finally able to start explaining themselves more and not just making you guess and test what the hell's going on. It's like, in order to actually sit here and watch Tiger Mask from 1969, you have to use a good bit of your own imagination to fill in the gaps. And I'd recommend it to someone who's into wrestling. And you don't have to be like the biggest mega star of wrestling, biggest mega fan of wrestling, but you certainly want to be in some of the know as to how some of it works.
Quick fact. Tiger Mask, the tallest Tiger Mask was Tiger Mask 2.
Mm-hmm.
He was 6'1".
Was he doing the 619 at all?
I think so, actually.
Did they all have the same finisher?
Well, they all had the Tiger Suplex because that comes with the mask. Because the way they do the gimmick in Japanese wrestling is because you got to keep up with the character. It's the same, the story is basically like what the Tigers did. He's being trained by the previous whatever. At least that's what the story is.
Right.
Like how they keep up with it. Well, with the newest Tiger Mask, he was unveiled in 2018, I think it was.
Oh, no shit. So he's still around.
Yeah, he's still fighting.
That's pretty cool.
I think the most recent one I saw was a 2016 fight, because it's really hard to find. I sat there for days looking for Bret Hart's time with Tiger Mask. He sat there, he fought him back in the 80s. I saw Daniel Bryan. He fought him back in 2008 or something like that, 2009. The character has kept up nowadays. Now, I did look for Kinnikuman. Kinnikuman has not been portrayed by a real life wrestler. The closest I found is Samoa Joe doing the Muscle Buster.
Yeah,
that is it.
Yeah, that's the closest you're going to get out of Kinnikuman, because I mean, straight up, a lot of the moves they use in Kinnikuman are downright illegal. You would murder somebody doing moves the way they do it. But yeah, Steve, earlier today you were talking to me about how some of the moves that they do in Kinnikuman are just downright illegal.
They're not illegal, but okay. We're gonna pull the curtain over kayfabe. I know everybody thinks that wrestling's all real. It is real to me, damn it.
It is.
But okay, these are two examples. Kinnikuman does a pile driver. All right. And in wrestling, when you do a pile driver, and I'm not a professional wrestler, so I don't know exactly the whole thing, but usually the head of the opponent is in between the thighs of the person that's performing the pile driver.
Right.
And when they hit the mat, it's usually the thighs that take the blunt, and they have to sell it. The person that took the pile driver has to sell the fucking move. All right.
That's how we keep these guys safe.
Yeah, you don't want to kill your opponent. You gotta wrestle them multiple times a week.
Yeah.
But in Kinnikuman, there is a perfect example of Kinnikuman. How he hits somebody with a pile driver is, you can see Kinnikuman when he grabs him like a pile driver, but his legs, Kinnikuman's legs, are where you put it's above the armpits.
Mm-hmm.
It looks, I can't,
It's because you're upside down. Like if you're gonna do a pile driver to somebody, you essentially pick them up by the waist and put their back to your body, and you're supposed to have them upside down. So like essentially their butt cheeks are on your chest.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a tombstone. So there's a
No.
pile driver and there's a tombstone. Tombstone
Back to stomach is a pile
is
driver.
a pile driver, and then
Stomach
yeah,
is-
because he lays them out like
All right,
he's in
yeah,
a coffin.
let's,
Okay.
let's,
Belly
let's,
to belly is the tombstone.
let's explain this. All right, let's just get to the part. Kinnikuman has the opponent's arms underneath his thighs, so his head is completely showing. His arms
Right.
and his head are showing. So when he hits the mat, it's not Kinnikuman saving the enemy
No,
or the opponent.
like
No, it's Kinnikuman jamming the dude's head into the mat.
it's literally a pile driver,
Spines cracking under
Yeah.
that,
like a human jackhammer.
like Stone Cold. Hey, his head was this far underneath.
Yep, because they can see you.
His head was half a foot outside of Owen Hart's ass, and he hit the mat, and it hurt like a mother.
He was outside the safety zone of a pile driver.
It paralyzed him for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, he was hurting.
He
real
said he
bad.
thought he was going to be next Christopher Reeves, and if
Yeah.
anybody doesn't know who that is, that's the original Superman. And also, Superman in Kinnikuman is classed as an A-ranked Chojin.
Yep,
Like actual Superman.
Actual
yeah,
Superman.
actual Clark Kent. Because that was before Clark Kent was picking up half of Infinity and shit. Before he was ripping black holes apart.
They I want to get to this part. After a while in Kinnikuman, after they get past all the superhero stuff, which is cool, they have kaiju battles and everything.
Mhm.
Kinnikuman gets like he becomes like a 50-foot story building. Like they fight. It's cool. But when they actually get to the wrestling part, it's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And how they do that is they go to the Children Olympics. And this is where all the Supermen of everywhere around the world comes to this Children Olympics in Japan, and they fight. Well, actually, they have preliminaries. And the first preliminary is rock, paper, scissors. It's like 1,500 fighters, and they got to break it down to like an 8 or a 16 bracket
Yeah.
tournament.
They gotta break it down. So you about to lose over some dumb shit.
So
Majin Buu's out there like losing the rock paper scissors.
well, the first but the first preliminary is rock, paper, scissors. Then they go to the next preliminary, which is the test of strength. They get a really big Yeti, like some kind of no, it's not like that. It's some kind of like 500,000 pound Yeti, and whoever picks them up first easily makes and like has clean form and everything.
Yeah.
Passes on to the next round. So they get to that, and there's a part where Kinnikuman has a villain, his super villain, or his super rival, Kantatsu Man, in Iowa. They are and this dude that never shows up, Lizard Man, but he never shows back up. They try to mess Kinnikuman up to not go past the second round of the Children Olympics, the second round of preliminaries. They try to tickle him while he's picking up the Yeti Man, and he doesn't do anything. They literally help him push it all the way up, and then he finally feels the tickle afterwards, which is so dumb.
Such a meathead.
Man, Kinnikuman, I really like him when he's really cool, but when he's an idiot, he's an idiot. There's two more. Well, there's an additional one because Kinnikuman. The third one is a race from the moon back. They got to go from Earth back to the moon,
Mhm.
back to Earth.
Oh my god.
Well-
oh my god.
Yep.
The people that survive,
What's stopping one of them from going, you want to see me do it? You want me to see me do it again?
they can because they're Supermen.
Yeah. Hey.
The big people that get to the preliminaries are Terry Man, Robin Mask, Ramen Man, Barakin Man, Curry Cook, and then the last preliminary, because Kinnikuman had to ruin everything, they had to have a battle royal. It was like 16 or 17 people, including Kinnikuman, and Kinnikuman wins. So they have the first Trojan Olympics. First Trojan Olympics. I didn't write down the things, but it was Curryman versus Kinnikuman, Terryman versus Robin Mask, Ramen Man versus Brocken Man. That was the big
the big fight.
That was like the big three fights.
Yeah.
And this is the one episode I gotta say that really makes me mad is Kinnikuman versus Curry Cook. He just got so just annoying. He didn't want to fight him. He was scared to die. Like, he thought he was going to turn into Curry.
Curry Cook was one of the brutal Chojin. He was one of the brutal Chojin.
Compared to the Chojin, I don't know.
He was one of the brutal Chojin, like of Brocken Man, Ramen Man, and Curry Cook. Those three were the ones that like they couldn't televise because they're so brutal. They had to fight in a different arena.
I think it was because Kinnikuman wasn't that popular.
That was half of it. That was half of it.
I do have a serious question. When you talk about battle royales, that kind of got me thinking. Was there any like? Because I've seen Tigermask W. I haven't seen the original Tigermask. Like I know in passing what happens only because of what they explain in W and by looking up some more stuff. And I watched the start of Tigermask 2. Did they ever have any big battle royale matches or like King of the Ring matches or stuff like that, or was it always villain of the week one-on-ones?
It was most of the time one-on-ones. Once in a while, you'd get a tag match, and very rarely you get like a tornado tag match.
Okay.
The only time you ever got to see like more than like 5 people in the ring at the same time was like towards the end where there was like this set of twins, 2 brothers. They used to be Siamese twins.
Yeah.
And they cleaned house. Like they came to jump fucking Kinnikuman. They came to jump Tigermask in the middle of a fight because he had just beaten their guy from the Tiger's Den. And half of the whole arena started jumping, or all the wrestlers in the arena started jumping into the ring, and these 2 brothers just started tightening their asses up. That was the most you'd see out of that.
Yeah, they actually explained that in Tigermask W because one big thing they do in that is they bring back old wrestlers like Yellow Devil, right? Yeah. His persona is brought back by the Tiger's Den. That's like the whole reason Tigermask becomes Tigermask in that show,
right?
But Yellow Devil, like the original guy from that show, trains the Date from Tigermask W because his name's not Naoto, but it's Date. I can't remember his first name.
Really?
That's serious.
Oh.
But like that, he has a big problem because he's like a mechanic or whatever. He's old, and he's like, he sees a guy come in with his mask, and he's in the crowd, and he's like, "Oh shit, Tiger Den's back," because Tigermask obviously took him down
right
at the end of the show, or
take him down at the word for what he did to him.
Yeah, well, he tore him apart.
Lie to you.
And then, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen the whole thing.
I watched all of Tigermask. I haven't seen Tigermask 2 or W at all.
So, because spoilers, so they did explain how Date stopped wrestling, right?
No,
they didn't show that.
They did not.
Okay, never mind.
I've heard of what's happened, but I'll try not to spill the beans on that.
Fair enough.
Because the way Tigermask, I'll go ahead and shoot this one in the head. The way Tigermask ends is him beating the dog shit out of Yellow Devil. They've built Yellow Devil up for like almost 30 episodes. Like maybe even longer than that, to be honest with you. But they've built him up as a little boy until the time he's ready to actually fight Tigermask. And then Tigermask mops him. Like, I mean, he put up a damn good fight, but once the music starts playing, like, there's not a whole lot you can do, especially against that super tiger leap or the tiger drop, the super tiger drop. No, the tiger leap. These are like his weirdest moves, and I think they're really cool. this is one of those things where, like I said, they're not superheroes, but they're superhuman esque. Tiger Mask's ultimate moves, the Tiger Leap. First of all, he picks the guy up like he's gonna do a power bomb, but he holds their legs really weird, and it's really difficult to explain how he's holding their legs. But he essentially bounces off the ropes while the guy is up above him. While the guy is up above him, facing the other opposite direction, he bounces off the ropes and then climbs the turnbuckle. And then he bounces off the turnbuckle up into the air and slides the guy down to where he's just holding him by the ankles and then just fucking like airing out a sheet. Just blah. That's the Super Tiger Leap.
To me, it sounds like a giant alley-oop. There's a move where a wrestler can be in the corner, like sat down on the third belt on the bottom rope, and the person will grab their legs, and the wrestler they'll lift them up by their legs, and then just drop them.
Almost air him out like a sheet.
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay,
it's kind of like that, but
sounds real similar.
But it's not like the craziness of like him doing that, picking them up and throwing them off the top rope.
Because like that's insane. And then his other move, the Super Tiger Drop. So like, what's it called when you're on your back and you kick somebody in the air? You like springboard them in the air.
Monkey flip.
Kind of a monkey flip.
Does he grab the back of the head?
He does not. It's set up kind of like a monkey flip where he grabs them by the arms and he rolls himself down, but he launches them in the air with his feet, launches them straight into the air. He kicks them in the air 2 or 3 times. And then he stands in the middle of the ring while they're falling down and catches them in a nasty backbreaker. I mean, it makes the foam come out of people's mouth. That's how you know somebody's defeated in Tiger Mask. Either the foam or the blood. Once shit starts bubbling out their mouth, it's over. It's over.
The only thing I can really think of with that is like a catch finisher for like Goldberg or something, where he goes like the missile or the military press, and then he drops him for the Oklahoma Slam. It's not that.
It's not like that. It's more so like
it's anime though.
It's like the Big Ben drop.
I don't know what the Big Ben drop is.
Come on. What's Robin Mask's finisher?
It's the Tower Bridge.
You know how he holds him for the Tower Bridge.
That's the Tower Bridge.
The Big Ben drop is Kevin Mask's move.
Yeah,
the Tower Bridge.
It's like
he's holding him the same way. So Tiger Mask did it first. He's holding him the same way, but they land on him because you know how like Robin Mask has his helmet in their back. Same concept. The head is right dead in the center of their back, and he's holding them down like in a backbreaker position.
So for the wrestlers of the show or the wrestling fans of the show, it's kind of like a torture rag or a bow and arrow, but
more like a bow and arrow,
but without the knees. I don't want to tell who wins the first Trojan Olympics.
You sure it's not Kinnikuman?
It's Kinnikuman, but I'm not going to say how the fights ended up and everything and how someone turned into ramen. But we're going to get to the part where I think the show turns from a superhero show to a wrestling show quickly. I'm a really big wrestling fan, and I really don't know a lot about the Eastern style wrestling. I don't know a lot about catch style and the Japanese, how they kind of it's more like a shoot style. That they're gonna hit you for real. And it's not gonna be, it's not like a lot of pomp and circumstance. In the show, once Kinnikuman wins, he wins the SWA championship. The Trojan Olympics, he wins the SWA championship. The Supermen Wrestling, my bad. It's the WSA championship. The World Supermen Association. So, Kinnikuman goes to California to meet the big man. You never really see him after the first Trojan Olympics, but he's the owner. Kind of looks like he doesn't look like Vince McMahon, but he kind of looks like a mixture of, God, who am I thinking? Like Arn Anderson or something? I don't know. But he shows Kinnikuman the Chojin Museum, the Chojin of Justice Museum, which is a big museum of all the prior champions. And in that museum, there is a portrait of Tiger Mask. There's a portrait of Bob Orton Jr., which is a weird thing for me. And there really wasn't like, you could see there was a lot of people, but you couldn't see all the portraits. The only ones I could really see were Bob Orton Jr. and Tiger Mask, which they showed a lot of Tiger Mask. They very much gave his respect. They also had a thing called the Walk of Stars, kind of like how Hollywood has the Star Walk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's more for the wrestlers. There are Tiger Mask on it. There is Hulk, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's Hulk Hogan. They're kind of referencing for it.
Right.
There's one that says Giant, and I know it's in California, but this is a Japanese anime. I don't know if it's Giant Baba or Andre the Giant. It might be Andre the Giant more than anything. And then there is a wrestler that was in the 80s and 90s that was bigger in Japan than he was in WWE. He was called Bad News Brown.
Mm-hmm.
He was a wrestler that had, in the 80s, when the first WrestleManias came out, he was the first man to have the shortest match in WrestleMania history. they kind of did him like that. But his name was Bad News Brown, and he was more popular in Japan for his shoot style and more of a, like, he was a big bruiser than WWE.
Okay.
In the States. But yeah, they showed him that. They also showed that they have a call center for the Supermen, and they talked about his name is Spider-Man with a Y.
Mm-hmm.
There is Batman, Ultraman, and then Astral Man. And they also, like I told earlier, they talked about Superman being ranked as an A-class Chojin in the show. They also bring up the Hulk, but he's later.
Yeah, which Superman should be ranked pretty high in that world. I would have loved to have seen like a crossover of Superman entering the Chojin Olympics or one of the wrestling matches. That would have been pretty cool.
I want to say one more thing, and then I'll let you have the floor on anything you want to talk about Tiger Mask for right now.
Oh.
I did really like this, being a wrestling fan. How they always say that the blood, sweat, and tears are poured into the belt of the champion. The champion's a fighting champion. He's not a chicken shit heel.
Right.
On the back of the WSA championship belt, there's the names of the prior winners, the prior champions, the prior holders, and it really showed how they take that very seriously. It's not a joke. There is actual, like, meaning behind all having this. And there was a little joke that Kinnikuman, they were like, the blood, sweat, and tears are in the championship belt, and it gets bigger. And Kinnikuman is like, I don't think I could take the weight of this.
The weight of a champion.
The weight of a champion. I don't know if I could take this. But Kadawfi,
let me jump up in here right quick. Real quick. So Matt said something I wanted to address earlier. He asked if Terry Man ever pulls out the strap in Kinnikuman. And there's actually a big fundamental difference between Kinnikuman and Tiger Mask. So Tiger Mask, when he first shows up from the Tiger Den, he's a heel. Straight up, Baba and Inoki are trying to put them into their federation. Might be All Japan, maybe.
Probably.
Tries to get them into their federation. And they're like, all right, you got to start fighting clean, though. You can't be out here doing your dirty tricks and tactics you learned at the Tiger Cave. And Tiger Mask was like, fuck you. I'm going to be Tiger Mask. And, I mean, that's why you asked for me, right? You knew of me from fucking shit up the way I was. Yeah. And I'm gonna get to your federation, and I'm going to fuck shit up the way I was. And, that's that. That actually becomes a big fight for him throughout the entire series as well, Tiger Mask and Naruto. He decided later, after seeing how his actions are making the orphans act, he decides to go ahead and change up his act. And he actually has a big struggle not doing villainous attacks. And it took me a little while to figure out what it was that he was doing that was so villainous. Don't get me wrong, there are some things out there that are just blatant. Like where he tied people up with the ropes and just stomped the shit out of them until they foam out the mouth and then keep stomping them. Besides that, I learned that when he would kick people with his knife kick that he has, he bounces off the ropes and just kicks them repeatedly. He was kicking them in the face. And when he started kicking people in the chest, they regarded him as being a clean fighter. So I guess he wasn't allowed to like fully strike people in the face like that. Because like even Baba chopped people in the neck. He didn't chop them in the face with his big chops. And his big boot, I think, would he'd kick him in the chest. So I think that was like something about the rules there, not to really endanger your opponents if you can help it. Tiger Mask and a lot of the people he fights against use weapons and various things in the ring. Like one time, Tiger Mask damn near beat a dude to death with the belt. The announcer,
There's the
ding ding ding.
The timekeeper bell.
The timekeeper bell, yeah. He fought a man named Devilman who put a table in the ring and broke it across Tiger Mask's back. Tiger Mask poked him in the eyes and then took the table that was broken in half and stabbed dude in his back and his neck.
Jesus. All right.
He didn't kill him, but he should have. He should have killed him. There are a lot of times where Tiger Mask does some dirty shit. People will jump into the ring on occasion and or pull somebody's feet from underneath them or assist where they shouldn't have assisted. In Kinnikuman, there's a much larger honor system. They don't do a lot of dirty tactics like that. Like, it's kind of strange to say what could be dirty and what could not be because some of these guys are like alien creatures and they have really weird abilities that they can use. But as far as people interrupting the matches, as far as them pulling out a table or a chair to beat somebody with, it's almost never happened.
Well, if you see the moves that they do, I don't think you need a chair.
Yeah, you don't need a chair.
Because people are like thrown into the mat head first and like there's an indentation. It doesn't show back up in the show, but there's an indentation when he pulls his head out the ring. And it's like, that man's dead. That man is dead.
They in Tiger Mask, they don't go so extreme, but they do show like, again, these are people. And so beating somebody with a steel chair is a very valid way, or using brass knuckles or using a bike chain. They're very valid ways to fuck somebody's life up. You know, Yellow Devil had a knife in his boot. Like he clicked his heels and a knife came out of his boot. And, he used that. A lot of people preferred brass knuckles or like spike knuckles.
That's the big usual thing for bad guys.
A lot of people really preferred that. Once in a while, somebody would pull something out of the crowd and try to beat Tiger Mask half to death with it.
I have a question. This is going back to recognizing any kind of old wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any kind of wrestlers that weren't just for the show? Because there's show wrestlers. Was there ever like real life wrestlers that showed up?
Generally Baba and Anuki. That's who you would get to see the most. You would also get to see the Briscoe brothers. You'd see them a couple times. Whenever he would go to America, he would usually run into Jack Briscoe because he fucked Mike Briscoe up. Mike Briscoe is an invalid after fighting Tiger Mask in that show.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he can't.
Oh my god!
He can't move. He can't train. He's Tiger Mask, and it was dirty Tiger Mask when he was still fighting dirty.
Mm-hmm.
That was that Tiger Mask that did that to him, and clean Tiger Mask had to deal with the vengeance of that.
Well, once you turn a good guy, you usually have those kind of moments where you have to regret what you've done when you were a heel.
And that seemed to haunt him for the whole entire show. Like, it came up in different ways how it haunted him, whether it be somebody getting vengeance or him reverting back because somebody else was doing dirty shit. At one point, Mr. X, he had 6 wrestlers from the Tiger's Den come to participate in a masked World Wrestling Championship match. And it was a one-day event. It was going to be a tournament. Whoever won was going to be the champion. and was like afforded $100,000 for the match.
Yeah, like a tourney winner.
Right, and that's what Tiger Mask earned after completing the match. Yeah, so like during those matches, he learned that because he was in a different federation, and that because these guys were all using extremely dirty tactics, there was one guy who had needles sewn into his costume. So, and his specialty was a bear hug. There was another guy named Golden Mask. He had like a light source shining on his mask to blind Tiger Mask. He was hitting him with a solar flare the whole fight. The only one who fought him clean was a Lion Mask, which Tiger Mask beat the shit out of him. Like, they built him up to be like the dude, and Tiger Mask was like sick and tired of all their dirty tricks and just fucking flatlined the guy. But by the time he got to him, he had already said, okay, fine, fuck it. I'll fight dirty. Fuck him. I'll show you what Tiger Mask can really do. And like I said, he flatlined Lion Mask, whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah.
That guy.
The dude with the lion mask who got flattened. But like I said, he'd have to deal with a lot of his consequences later in life because of all the dirty shit he was doing beforehand. And I mean, it kept going all the way to the very last episode where he was still dealing with those consequences.
So what you're saying is, compared to Kinnikuman, more of like a comedy wrestling show, this is more like a dramatization.
Yeah, like I don't really find a lot of moments funny in this show. There's not like a lot to really laugh about. It's really dramatic, and you can tell that like it's supposed to be more serious in tone. And upon finishing the show, it kind of feels like the show maybe necessarily wasn't for me. It might have been for those children that were orphans because of the car crashes. Like I could see those children really bonding to Tiger Mask. Just because shit's difficult and hard doesn't mean you can't be great. I was an orphan too. You don't have to go through what I went through. And, when you finally get on, give back. Help other people out the best way you can.
Matt, do you have anything to put in? Any small references or anything?
I do not.
Is there anything you're learning from this?
Yes. A little bit more about Kinnikuman and the Tiger Mask. I was a little bit more versed in Tiger Mask about how it's more grounded, more serious.
Right.
Kinnikuman just sounds fucking wild.
You need to put your eyes on that shit too.
I did find out as we were talking that there was a wrestler who went under the name Robin Mask. I could not find a picture, but a wrestler from New Japan who wrestled as Tiger Mask W from 2016 to 2017 also wrestled under the name Robin Mask.
Okay.
Interesting.
Like early in his career? Or
yeah,
after?
It was earlier on. It was way before he was Tiger Mask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's just something. And another thing, remember earlier when I was talking about Black Tiger, how there's they had Tiger Mask in the original. A couple things. One, to answer your question from earlier, it was the original Tiger Mask who uses the 619. But it wasn't until he created the move, it was passed to a luchador named Super Astro. And that's when Rey Mysterio first saw the move.
Mm.
So he didn't see it directly from Tiger Mask, but Tiger Mask did create the move.
Okay. Oh, shit. That's pretty cool.
Still cool.
So Black Tiger apparently feuded with Eddie Guerrero back in the day. Because Eddie also wrestled in Japan, just like Chris Benoit did.
Okay. Like more in the...
Like that's early Eddie.
So like more as Mexico days? Like being luchadors and stuff like that?
Which I don't know if he was luchador at the time.
I
think he was in Japan at the time.
I don't think Eddie had a mask. Eddie Guerrero is what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't think Eddie Guerrero had a mask, but he was a luchador. He did fight the lucha style.
For sure. I don't think he had a mask. I don't think I ever saw Eddie in a mask. But I mean, there could be some old footage out there, of Eddie getting started.
There is a few people in this show, Kinnikuman, that are fake, but they're based off of real live wrestlers.
Yeah.
There's a wrestler that as soon as Kinnikuman wins the first title, his first defense of the said title is a man named Jesse Maivia. But if you know the Maivia name, that is a big name in the Samoan Hawaiian area as Peter Maivia, the grandfather of The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Rocky Maivia.
They're
Rocky sucks. Rocky sucks. Rocky sucks.
We talked about him before. Terry Man. In Japan, there was a man named Terry Funk that recently just passed away. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
He was a big. He was a big, not a big fan, but a big
big draw,
like a big draw, a big star in Japan. Like he was like real tight friends with either Inoki or Baba. So they in the show, Terry Man is based off him.
Right.
Even Terry Man's father is Dory Man, and that's Dory Funk.
Right.
There is Chavo Guerrero, which is Chavo Guerrero Senior.
Senior.
And there's a man, I gotta say, Kinnikuman did it first, way before anybody. And this is like before like anything in anime. This is Kinnikuman did it before the WWE, before the WWF. There's a man named Beauty Rhodes, and American Dream. But yes, he was Dusty Rhodes, and
Dusty Rhodes, baby.
Dusty Rhodes, baby. It was like he kind of looks like, because I thought Terry Man was like a mixture of Dusty Rhodes, but it wasn't. Terry Man's Terry Funk, and this man named Beauty Rhodes, who is the California champion for the rival promotion of the SA or the WSA. I was like, man, that's not Dusty Rhodes, and he come out in polka dots, and that's like and this came out in Kinnikuman came out in 1983. 1989 is when Dusty Rhodes came out in polka dots and danced a jig for Vince McMahon's company. So Kinnikuman did it first. And how you know it's Dusty Rhodes? He does the bionic elbow. And if anybody doesn't know what the bionic elbow is, he hits you with a combo of a left, right, a left, and then he rolls his hands and hits you with the elbow. It looks so horrible in anime because all he does is his hands like flap back and forth a little bit, and then he hits him with it. But yeah, I was like, man, that's Dusty Rhodes, baby.
So an update, I was wrong. Black Tiger did not feud with Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero was Black Tiger.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh.
So he fought. He tag teamed with Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit fought as Wild Pegasus in New Japan, and Eddie Guerrero was the masked wrestler Black Tiger.
Wow.
One of them, not the Black Tiger.
Wild Pegasus. Wow.
So that I enjoy talking about wrestling a lot because a lot of it's connected, whether it be with the holds, the move, like where stuff come from, like shoot style, catch wrestling, strong style wrestling, stuff like that. Like there's a lot going on. Like everyone always goes to the fact it's like, oh, wrestling's fake. It's like you're not supposed to see, like, yeah, wrestling's fake. Not wrestling's not fake. It's predetermined.
There you go.
It's predetermined.
That's the right one.
I'm not jumping off of a fucking 20-foot cell onto a dot, as McFoley did. Well,
Right.
he jumped off a 16-foot. Shane McMahon jumped off a 20-foot cell and about fucking died.
Still here to talk about it. Still here to talk about it.
Because it's Shane McMahon.
Shane O'Mac.
Shane O'Mac. Here comes the money. Here we go.
I gotta add one more. There's a man that I recently, because I didn't finish the series, but I recently met this man named Geronimo. And
Geronimo.
Kadawfi says, if you guys want to look it up, and it might be right, he just doesn't look like him. Kadawfi says he looks like the Ultimate Warrior. Dun, 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 dun.
The more you get to know Geronimo, the more it makes sense that I called him Warrior. Because you know how Warrior don't make a whole bunch of sense when he's talking? Geronimo don't make a whole bunch of sense in the shit he does. I don't know. like at first, like it's the same with Warrior. Like when you first meet him, it's like, fuck yeah. Oh, look at this guy. He fucking body cross chopping and fucking power bombing it. This guy's fucking amazing. And you get to know him a little bit more. And it's like,
oh god,
bro, what the fuck are you doing?
That
Put down the powder.
The thing about with Ultimate Warrior was he was being, Hulk Hogan was working on his movie career.
Right.
Back when Warrior was there. He was being put up as an Intercontinental Champion and he was going to be made WWE Champion.
Groomed.
He was being groomed, right?
He was getting a good push.
But then, like, Vince started to realize that all Ultimate Warrior was, with all due respect, all Ultimate Warrior was a flashy entrance and a couple moves of doom.
A shit ton of hype, too.
Yeah, like, mind you, like, that fucking music hit, the fucking run down to the ring, all that shit, all fucked up on coke and shit. Like, yeah, but
I think that was more steroids than anything, but
he was on all of it.
It was on both. He was doing cocktails. So, one of the things that I really liked about Tiger Mask was in the beginning of the show, it didn't really develop. Like it was kind of like the same thing. Like again, Naoto Dante did one of the three things that he did, you know. But as the show starts to develop, you get to start to meet more and more of the other personalities around Tiger Mask, like his homeboy Daigo Damon, whom I'm gonna dub as the very first Yamcha and Vegeta. He plays both roles in the show.
You are the best, Kakarot.
He long story short, he escapes from the Tiger Den and quits wrestling. He quits wrestling because he knows if he wrestles, the Tiger Den is going to come after his ass. And he's like, fuck it, I'll just quit and they'll leave me alone. No big deal. And then he lost his courage to actually continue fighting. Daigo Diamond has scars on his face and is a lot more capable than most of the people around Yamcha. Right. Well, he gets his balls up underneath him and decides to become tag team partners with Tiger Mask as Mr. Fu. And of course, he nasty as a fuck. His moves are different, and he does a lot. He does a pedigree. He does a figure four leg lock. He's got some cool moves in his bag. Vegeta. So you also start to get a little bit of development with Mr. X. You start to realize he's not like in control of the Tiger's Den, even though sometimes he like, you know, throws his weight around like he's somebody. Multiple times the Tiger's Den has been like, hey bro, you failed, we about to kill you. And he begs for his life and shit. There was actually a point where it seemed like he had a lot of the power in the Tiger's Den, but then he lost it again because he continued fucking up. Like he could not send a good enough wrestler to defeat Tiger Mask.
so he would lose footing with the Tiger Den itself.
Right. And like it's he's constantly about to get murdered. Constantly about it because it's his job to have Tiger Mask killed. Like nothing else but to have Tiger Mask killed. They even tried to kill Tiger Mask in the streets, and he killed the two guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't fuck with Tiger Mask. I think he dropped like a bulldozer on a guy or some shit. Like, I mean, he didn't throw it on him, but like,
but it fell on him.
Right, like in a junkyard. He's fucking killing people. He was ridiculous. But this is going to lead to Mr. X becomes more and more desperate as you start to see his footing change with the Tiger's Den.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally had his one master plan. He had his one master plan. He was going to bring out Black Panther. Black Panther was the third African champion to have to come deal with Tiger Mask. There was Popo Africa, who fought Tiger Mask twice. The first time Tiger Mask was a dirty fighter. The second time he was a clean fighter, and Popo Africa was like, fuck that, I'm fighting you dirty. And he got mobbed. So he was like, all right, fuck it. I can't lose a second time, but I have to. It is what it is. That's okay. Because the next motherfucker coming for you, you ain't ready. You ain't ready, and you'll never be ready. He was so not ready that it had Baba scared. Baba ain't scared no damn body in this show, but he was like, bro, you don't want to fuck with Black 5. Black 5 was a masked wrestler that came out there. I mean, they built him up for a couple episode or two, and then Tiger Mask whooped his ass.
Mhm.
I mean, it was like that. Like Black 5 got into the ring and started doing his shit, and then the music started playing. It started playing real quick. like the episode was primarily the build up for Black 5, and like if you blink, you'd have missed the ass whooping. And then they finally sent in Black Panther, and Black Panther was like that dude. He really was that dude. He starts the fight off against Tigermask with a reverse stunner. Immediately, a reverse stunner, damn near broke his neck.
So Kadawfi, you told me about this off air. Are you sure this isn't like a reverse like neck breaker?
It's you know how Stone Cold does the stunner.
Yeah, he kicks him in the stomach.
Not so much that, but the landing. Like
Yeah, on his ass.
how like he's landing on his ass, but his back is straight up, like he's sitting in a chair.
Yeah, you can have neck breakers like that.
I mean, it's technically a neck breaker, but that was a stunner. Like that was a whole. The way he had his arms around his head and around his neck, that was a stunner.
Did he flop and everything too, like The Rock?
No,
Damn it.
no, he flopped, but not like nobody flops like The Rock. Nobody. That man's got he got the most protected flops in all of wrestling.
He's the only one that can take the stunner and flop like that.
But I mean, he hit him with a stunner.
What about Razor?
Razor had a good flop, but not like The Rock's. The Rock flop out the ring and be dying. and then sit there and twitch on you for an hour. Like
Give a handstand and some shit.
The Rock really sell your moves, bro. He really sells the shit out of them. So after the stunner, like he immediately picks Tigermask up and then hits him with a pedigree, and then just goes on this series of body slams and power bombs and suplexes, just like belly to back suplexes, land fisherman suplexes, just trying to fucking kill Tigermask. And well, the music started playing.
Oh Lord, that's when the music started playing.
The music started playing, and this is when Tigermask did his tiger drop in a different way. He launched dude in the air, and now Black Panther was so convinced that he knew how to beat Tigermask's drop. He knew how to beat it. The tiger drop, I got this shit. I got this shit. He launched him in the air. Dude reversed the launch somehow, landed on a turnbuckle, and went to go jump at Tigermask. Wrong fucking move. Got caught in the tiger drop. Then Tigermask climbed the top rope, jumped off the top rope, and did the fucking the super tiger leap, where he flattened his ass out like a sheep. Game fucking over. Fucking when this is over, Mr. X is sitting in the crowd, tears pouring out of his eyes. Mm-hmm. He was so fucking defeated that he could not defeat Tigermask. He was like, there's nothing left for me to do. I've done everything I can. I hate you, Tigermask. I hate you. like being told the ice cream machine at McDonald's is down. I hate you. Like that. He turned that villainous, like, dark man who's always hiding in the shadows, laughing at you. Like every time Tigermask defeated one of the Lions Den, that was a pussy. I got a real motherfucker for you. This time he was, come on, man. You can't lose this once for me.
No.
Like just this one time. And like and Black Tiger or Black Jaguar, Black Panther, these people all exist in Tigermask.
It's just different black.
Yeah, Black Panther fought clean until he kicked Tigermask in the dick.
Kicked him right in the dick.
Kicked him in the dick. Besides that, that was like the bit of development you got out of Mr. X. But it took like 65, 67 episodes to really fulfill that whole storyline with Mr. X, where he finally was just like, I can't. I fucking can't.
I can't.
Fine.
I just can't do it. So, in Kinnikuman, it's more of a comedy than a drama. And they have references to other things. They kind of joke and poke at stuff.
Pop culture.
Pop culture.
Joke and poke, huh?
Talking about, let's get this one out the way. Talking about Tigermask, they actually reference Tigermask other than the portraits and the Walk of Stars. There's a wrestler called Warsman. He is a Russian that has a glove that extends like Wolverine,
The bear claws.
called Bear Claws. Kind of looks like Wolverine mixed with Magneto.
He's a metal man. He's
He's
a robot.
he's a robot Trojan. So they say that he came from the snake pit, and there is an announcer, Nakano, that tries to explain what the snake pit is, and it's just Tiger Den. He straight up pulls Tigermask, starts playing the song like the old one, and they hit him in the head with a frying pan and say, "That's the Tiger Den, you jackass." oh, in this show, words fly. They do not care, ladies and gentlemen. They will say the F word. They'll say the shit word. They'll say jackass.
They'll say the damn word.
The F word and the shit word.
They'll say ass a lot.
Ass word. That's my word.
That's my word.
Ass.
But there's also a show from the 60s. It's a baseball anime called Stars of the Giants. And Kinnikuman and his father will, it didn't happen, it hasn't happened recently, but at the beginning of the show, like the first Trojan Olympics, they would do these little montages where it's Kinnikuman Suguru is the pitcher for this baseball anime, and his father is like the mentor or the father of the dude, and they're trying to like be like real sweet to each other and everything. It's real cool. I thought those little moments were funny. His enemy of the show, Kintatsu Man and Iowa, and a police. I don't think this man's part of the police force, but he says he is. Gabari. They do a Star Wars reference, like literal Star Wars reference. Like Guabari has a green lightsaber, and Kitatsu Man has a blue one, and Iowa turns into R2-D2.
Yep.
I thought that was hilarious. Talking about the solar flare, Mr. Carmen, one of the Devil Children, hits Brocken Jr. with a solar flare. Doesn't look like what you think it would look like, but it's a solar flare.
It's a solar flare.
And if anything, it's a flashbang.
I mean, Kinnikuman did it first. And speaking of, didn't somebody drop the weights first?
There was a lot of weight dropping. So like, yeah, I won't even try to say that like specifically who did it, but there was a lot of people that did it. Mostly Robin Masker pulled the weight drop.
He pulled it off nicely.
But Kinnikuman did it first.
That sapphire plated armor.
There in Kinnikuman, because in Japanese wording, like sayings, stuff like that, they'll have certain acronyms. Is that the word?
Possibly. What are you trying to say?
Like a saying, but it's an acronym. It's like it's like. All I'm trying to say is there was one that I picked up that was kind of cool hearing. It's in Japan, the number 4 in Japanese sounds like death. So it's a very unlucky number for Japanese people.
Ah.
4 sound how they say 4 in Japanese sounds like death. So they really do not try to get away from that.
Oh, okay.
Like how people get away from like 666 in America, or
4 is an unlucky number, huh?
Because it sounds like death.
Darn. I like the number 4.
I like the number 4.
It's a multiple of 8.
How you were saying Tigermask never really grew. I bet he grew a little bit, or maybe the people around him grew.
Yeah.
But the main character of Kinnikuman did grow every battle he had.
Yeah.
Because like at the very beginning, I would never see him fight. Later on in the show, he would fight these people called Devil Children,
right?
And they were very much like bigger. They were worse than Brutal Children, worse than Ramen Man turning somebody into ramen. The beginning of the show, how he was crying and screaming against Curry Man or Curry Cook. Yeah, I couldn't see him fight Buffalo Man, even Black Hole.
I mean, even the Kinnikuman that fought Warsman, I don't think would have survived against the Devil Children.
Well, you saw what happened when the Devil Children showed up. Warsman completely took the dub, like not take the dub, but he took the L real bad. Like that's the first person they attacked was like Warsman. They're like, oh, this was the guy that you were fighting for the championship. Oh, this ain't nothing.
Go ahead, smoke him right quick. A lot of people take a lot of L's in Kinnikuman. That was one of the things I enjoyed more about Kinnikuman than Tigermask. Is the focus was Tigermask, which is fine. It's just that anybody around him, if like every other word out their mouth was Tigermask, and it was like, I get it, it's your show, but I mean, damn, does everything have to be about you? The only time that we got an episode that wasn't really about him, and it wasn't everybody just like, oh, Tigermask, amazing Tigermask, he does so much for fucking Tigermask is the best, the Tigermask, the only time it wasn't that was where we actually got to see Diego Diamond finally become Mr. Fu and rejoin the ranks of wrestlers. And you got to see a whole episode with him and what it was like being him. And that was pretty cool. But that was episode 72 out of 73. So, yeah, I mean, it took a long time. And I mean, every episode, like, you have the young boy Kenta from the orphanage. He's your primary, I don't want to say friend of Tigermask, but he's your biggest fan of Tigermask.
He's your Racky.
Like when Tigermask isn't wrestling on screen, he's reading a Tigermask comic book somewhere.
Oh my god!
Like he'll be sitting there in front of the TV with his back turned. Like if Tigermask ain't on screen, I ain't watching. There was a he was late for dinner when Naoto came to visit and was like, "Where's Kenta?" I was like, "Oh, he was out playing. Let me go find him." He's like, "I'll go find him. I'll go hunt him down." And this dude was in some strange alleyway staring at a Tigermask poster. It's all he does. He eats, sleeps, breathes, lives Tigermask. It's all for him. And it's like a lot of, just about everybody in the show is Tigermask. Like, as much shit as he caused, I'm surprised Baba and Inoki kept him. Like, every time you turned around, Tigermask needed some shit. You know, he made a promise to a little girl at an orphanage that he was gonna get the city to stop all the smog, and he was gonna build her this nice house on top of the hill away from the smog. So that way, you know, and he was gonna change the zoning laws, and he was gonna do that. He made his promise to that little girl because her brother was trying to go up into a tall tower where the smog was at to prove a point that the smog was killing them. He was gonna go give his life for that shit, so he made a promise that he couldn't fucking keep. So he wins the match, and the little boy rats on him to the newspaper, and he's sitting there after the match he wins and is like, shit, I can't do what the fuck I said I could do. Oh, I fucked up. He's like sitting there about to cry. And then Baba comes in and he's like, hey, yo, what's up, man? He's like, man, I fucked up. I fucked up real bad. I don't know what to do. He goes, no, you didn't fuck up. He goes, by the way, the All Japan Association wants to give you a donation, you know, of X amount of money. He was like, oh, man, that's really great. He goes, yeah, and we also heard that you wanted to build this house for this little girl. So the government stepped in, saw what was going on, and they're forcing all the factories to put purifiers on top of their smokestacks, and they're going to build the little girl a house you promised.
So the government bowed him out?
Yeah. And it was like...
Plot.
Right. And
Plot.
It's not always like that in the show where it's like just plot. But it was just one of those moments where it was like we had a chance to humanize him instead of just like the great fucking Tigermask.
Yeah,
because like after a while,
shit doesn't always work out.
After a while, with the matches, you get tired of watching some of the matches because it's like Tigermask is gonna mop him up. Mm-hmm. They're just gonna fuck him up. Now, once you start getting into like the episode 50 and stuff, I think like 50 and 40 somewhere in that ballpark, he starts getting more serious enemies. He starts to get enemies that they build up over a time period before you actually get to see Tigermask fight the guy. And you get a lot better wrestling matches too. It starts to look better. You don't have to really imagine as much that's going on, and it all makes more sense. Like when he fought Kamikaze. Kamikaze was a Japanese wrestler who used judo and karate in his fighting style. and he was becoming very dangerous and chased Tiger Mask all the way to America. Tiger Mask went to America like 3 times.
Yeah.
He went to America like 3 times to go become better. He actually went to go figure out his very own special moves, the super leap and the super tiger drop.
Yeah.
He went to go learn those. While he was doing that, Kamikaze chased his ass down, and he was like, "Man, I'm not ready to fight you yet. Let me go get some more shit up under my belt, and I'll see you later." When we finally get to have that fight, once Tiger Mask makes it back to Japan, has his new special moves, and you finally get that fight, it's a really good fight. Like, I was convinced that Kamikaze was actually going to win, but then the music started playing.
So what you're saying is Tiger Mask is Hulk Hogan and John Cena mixed.
Kinda. He lost once, but it was to Baba.
Hey, you lose to the greats too.
He lost to Baba. And he lost to Baba because he wasn't really fighting. His head was somewhere else. He was worried about the orphanage, and the Tigers didn't come in. His head was just too many places, and Baba just went ahead and mopped his ass up real quick. And he was like, that's your first loss, and he promised to never lose again, which he doesn't. He doesn't lose ever again.
Writers made sure of that.
He takes a couple of draw matches because he does fight Baba again, a draw match. I believe Tiger Mask's record was something like 201-3.
Jesus.
Yeah, like 3 draws, 1 loss, and like he beat the shit out of anybody else who walked in his way.
So Kadawfi, I have a question, and this is going to be spoiler territory.
Let's do it.
Matt brought this up earlier. Kinnikuman never really had, other than that one battle royal, a multi-man kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Other than like a multi-man singles match, like multiple single matches happen at different times.
Right.
Was there ever a tag team arc?
There absolutely is. It takes place 2 arcs after the Devil Children.
After the Devil Knights and everything too?
Yep. Takes 2 arcs arcs after that, because the tag team Sunshine and Ashura Man are still there. They're one of the tag team duos.
I just wondered, because most of the time it's just Kinnikuman versus whoever, and if Kinnikuman can't fight him, then one of his friends pop up and it's like, "Hey, I'll help you out."
That arc's actually really cool too, the tag team arc. Without going into too far into spoiler territory, everybody turns their back on Kinnikuman, and he's got to find a partner for himself. And there's one person,
Even Terry Man.
There's one person who will partner up with Kinnikuman.
Oh shit!
And he takes he puts on a new mask and a new outfit to hide who he really is.
Hell yeah! I know exactly who the hell you're talking about.
The partnership they make is called the Kinniku brothers.
I had to watch it.
I remember you telling me about that.
So MattMatt, you've been listening in for a long time. Do you have any questions about Tiger Mask or Kinnikuman?
It's like I'm watching the show.
You sure?
Flipping back and forth.
Oh my god!
One's on
commercial. Yeah.
Like
no.
Tiger Mask sounds like it's been like he's told most of the show. I haven't told you about the second Chojin Olympics or even the Devil Chojin, because one of the people are my favorites. If I was a wrestler, I'd probably be him. Buffalo Man.
No.
I thought you said Buffalo off air. You said Buffalo Man. You weren't sure if you liked him or not.
No, I said I didn't like Stereo Cassette King.
I thought you said Buffalo Man.
No, I said if I was a wrestler, I'd be Buffalo Man.
You would be Buffalo Man.
I do have a couple questions actually. I'm gonna pose this to you, and then I'm gonna pose this to Steve, and I'm gonna pose this to Crush. So out of everybody that you saw, all the wrestlers that you saw, whether that be good, bad, ugly, fucking neutral, all of them, right? Was there ever a favorite finishing move that you'd love to see every time he shows up? Now, if you want to say Kinniku Buster, you can say Kinniku Buster. That's no problem, because that's a dope-ass fucking move.
It is a dope-ass move, but it didn't come in until later into the show. There's actually one that I don't think you guys would think I would pick, but I really, really like. It's It's the Tower Bridge.
Tower Bridge is cool.
Now, who does the Tower Bridge?
Robin Mask. And that, like, if I wanted a tag team partner, Robin Mask is my tag team partner.
Robin Mask ain't got no problem breaking your fucking back.
Like what he said, it looks like a torture rack,
But it's on his head.
but it's on his head.
Yeah, I
And
see it.
He literally will like dislocate your spine and then say it's over.
What do you mean dislocate? There is no dislocating a spine.
He breaks that.
There's snapping it.
That breaks.
So yeah, the Tower Bridge.
So Tower Bridge, awesome. Crush. Is there a favorite finishing signature move that was your favorite? Like in again, it doesn't have to be the Tiger suplex or the Tiger drop or whatever he did. It could be anybody's, like, because I'm sure there's been times where people did certain moves that, you know, it's like, oh, his finishing move, and then Tiger Mask gets back up from it. Like, I think Yellow Devil, does he still do the spin like cutting move?
He didn't.
He didn't?
He
Okay.
didn't. The move I liked the most, and I thought should have been Tiger Mask's finishing move, was the belly to back suplex, where he slams their head on the ring post.
Oh, like a German?
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
shit.
Yeah. I thought.
Oh my god. Well, no, you
I
can't do that. You
I
can't
assumed-
teach kids that
I
shit.
assumed that was going to be his finishing blow. Because, like, when he would do that shit, it was like, oh my God, you're not getting up. You're not getting up.
Someone go get the shovel. We're gonna
You're
bury his
dead.
ass.
You're dead.
I mean, I think that was probably my favorite move of the whole. I mean, it was great to see the pedigree and the figure four. Like, once the animators figured out how to draw the figure four, everybody had a figure four. Like, the Boston Crab was pretty cool, the way they portrayed that, and the Cobra Clutch was something they did a lot also.
Because
But-
that's mostly a headlock, so that's what they would be.
right. It's
Yeah.
well, you know.
Right. They're working with it. Yeah. Well, I'm
But-
sure there's also like collar elbow tie-ups and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
they
you know,
have
because
those.
the whole 9 yards when it comes to wrestling.
Right. They have they do a lot of wrestling maneuvers. I think at the end of the day, they have more actual wrestling maneuvers than Kinnikuman does. But they also have a lot of the very basic, everybody has, like these days, everybody has a pile driver.
A DDT.
Everybody has a suplex, a DDT.
Yeah.
You know, everybody can do it. Like, these moves aren't so special. But at this time period, a pile driver puts you the fuck out. And it does, like a very basic, you know, I didn't jump in the air. I just picked you up and sat down, would fucking crush somebody in the show.
Now, see, in Tiger Mask W, see, he has his finishing move in Tiger Mask W, which is the Tiger Suplex, right? He also has his axe kick, where he jumps, he comes down straight on the dude's head, and he comes up with the knee. He calls it the Tiger Jaws, I think it's called, right? Where he crushes his fucking opponent's head.
Yeah.
Between his feet and his knee, right?
Kind of like that wolf bite from Epo.
Yeah. Oh, almost just like it, right?
Or
But
how Kadawfi ain't seen it.
there is a move that he does once in the entire show in W, right? He does it against a guy named King Tiger, right? Where it was a guy from the Tiger's Den trying with a tiger mask on, because it was getting towards the end of the show. They started showing off like the big bad, Mr. X came back, all that sort of shit. And what it was the guy come off the top rope, right? Like you were saying with the tiger drop earlier. And Date had jumped up midair, turned this sumbitch upside down, right? Like legs up in the air, fucking grabbed his legs, hooked his fucking arms, and fucking dropped on a pile driver from like 50 feet in the fucking air. The only time he did in the whole show, nastiest move on the fucking roster.
Woo!
That shit come out of nowhere. I revisit that clip from time to time.
Now, even though Tiger Mask himself didn't have extremely impressive moves, a lot of his enemies did.
Mm-hmm.
There were guys who were chucking people way in the air, you know, what appeared to be 100 feet in the air,
Yeah.
and then catching them with moves. But like Tiger Mask, a lot of people didn't sell very well in Tiger Mask. You know, it was kind of like, fuck you, I'm getting right back up.
Yeah.
Like Apollo Star comes to mind, the man with the 2,000 techniques. Like
Arm bar.
arm drag, dragging arm bar. Like
Heel hook.
He would just like show off every move he had, he beat Tiger Mask as because I guess they do a best of three,
Yeah.
the best 2 out of 3. Tiger Mask always lost the first one against Apollo Star.
Mm-hmm.
He fought him twice, and that first round, he took a beating to wake up both times. But Apollo Star wasn't really much of a salesman when it came to getting hit by Tiger Mask.
Mhm.
You know, Tiger Mask would slam him or some shit, and most people catch just a power slam and have a hard time getting back up. Dude's back up on his feet before Tiger Mask and whooping his ass. Like,
Before the commentator can say something.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh shit, oh."
Any more questions about the story, like the story or anything?
Nope. I still think the MVP of the night is Abraham Lincoln, our 16th U.S. president.
Anything else that you wanted to share about Kinnikuman?
My final thoughts, Will.
All right. Well, guys, I think it's about time to wrap this one up. Put it in the bag. Today, we finally discovered what the difference between Tiger Mask and Kinnikuman was, and shit, I thought it was going to be comparing apples to apples, but we're comparing apples to vegetables. It's to me, it's wildly 2 different shows. Both of them have 2 completely different meanings. Both of them are for kids essentially, but they represent a lot more for the youth. Tiger Mask with the orphans, showing how to become strong and how to be better, and Kinnikuman, I mean, shit, just to laugh at. Kinnikuman's hilarious, and it even hypes you up when it shouldn't because it's so damn funny, but you get hyped up. It almost feels like Toon Force or something, but it's not.
Niku Force.
It's anime. It's shonen.
It's Trojan Power.
I mean, yeah, it's One Piece and Dragon Ball and Yu Yu Hakusho and Cowboy Bebop and Outlaw Star and Fist of the North Star. It's everything.
But it's not Berserk.
It is.
It is not. There's not
is.
a lot like Berserk.
like showing that kind of brutality. Nah, not in Kinnikuman. Not that kind. Not that kind. But showing the ability to tell that kind of a brutal story with people like Brocken Jr. and Ramen Man.
Yeah.
And
make them laugh. Like Ramen Man completely ate somebody in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, Ramen Man's not making you laugh though. Like Ramen Man did that shit for real. It's Kinnikuman's reaction to it that makes you laugh. It's
shit.
Down the road you'll meet Akuma Shogun. When Sunshine and friends really come through, or Neptune Man and Bushido Man. Things start to take a little bit of a darker turn. I mean, shit, you've seen some of it with Warsman. Warsman really beat the shit out of Kinnikuman in the ring for half an episode.
He stopped Ramen Man to ever fight.
Like, I think he scrambled his eggs. And his eggs being his brains. He beat that ass for a while. But, Steve, you got any final thoughts?
He's got a speech rehearsed.
I don't need the push of my farts.
3, 2, 1. Oh, man.
These are iconic sayings that I believe is the funniest shit I've ever heard. Well, that, and all I need is udon for the next 300 years. Fast,
cheap,
and delicious too.
Soy no.
But Kinnikuman, I didn't think I was going to take a lot from this, but hindsight being 2020, this is a great show, and everyone should actually check this out. I know it's a long-winded show, but if you like wrestling and you want to have a little flair, a little bit of a little comedic tone to how you watch wrestling, Kinnikuman's your show.
MattMatt, any closing thoughts?
Watch some wrestling. Be open-minded about it. Don't just sit there and say that it's fake.
This has been FCP's Potato Slam. Thanks for joining.
Steve, put down the chair. Steve, put down the chair.
With the chair! My goodness! My goodness! Stone Cold!
If you enjoyed today's episode, if you listened to the whole episode, hopefully you did, go tell somebody that you liked the episode. Whether they be an anime fan, a wrestling fan, a movie fan, all of them. You know, we're just a slice of life anime in this big sea ocean of YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else that you can find your podcasts.
Love us, damn it.
Check out our shorts. Our shorts are awesome. Our producer's awesome. And our editor is awesome. If you want to hear more of our quarter annual wrestling couch fest slam potato fest mania that we had going on, then just leave a comment. Maybe be read on the show. And
We have been the Fighting Couch Potatoes. You stay classy. And thanks for stopping by.
Was that bad? The way you're explaining this kind of...
You got something to say in the podcast?
yeah.